job site. We're here, footing day. Helical piles are getting installed. So first thing we need to do is break out this tiny little bit of walkway piece. I'm gonna measure out and mark our footing so that we can efficiently get rid of this stuff and be good to go. Let's hope everything goes smoothly here, because they're gonna be here in like 10 minutes and we're supposed to have this already done. So let's hope it goes quick. Might be a bad sign. I think we've unearthed a pet cemetery. We got half a jaw. Here's the other half. What kind of animal you think? Is this disrespectful to this animal's legacy? It is?
I think it's probably like a raccoon or something.
Yo, check this out. This is crazy. Yeah, like a possum. That's definitely the dude's hip. Whoa. I don't know what this is. Put all of the bones over here. Just in case whoever's bones these are realizes they're missing, I'm gonna put them over here. Who needs a jackhammer when you got these bad boys?
Hey Sean, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, funny you should ask. I'm actually setting our laser here to the height of the threshold at the door.
Mark, how does that work?
Well, I'll give you a little tutorial here. So we have our laser set up over there, and here we've got our grade rod and our receiver. Ant, where'd you go? All right, well, anyway, I still got you here. I'll explain it to you. Don't know where Ant went. We have our grade rod and our receiver. So first thing we need to do is establish the heights of our helical piles. I am just going to threshold of the door. Get my reference point there. Now we need to come down 20 inches because we have 1 inch of decking, we have a 9.5 inch joist and a 9.5 inch beam. That's 20 inches. Easiest way to do this, pencil. It can get kind of confusing trying to figure this out because we need to go down 20 inches, but in reality we need to move the receiver up 20 inches. So instead of trying to figure out, all right, we're at 1 foot 8 3/4, you know, what does that equal when I add 20 inches? What I like to do, pull out the tape, set it where my receiver is, and then I can just come up here, make a little mark at 20 inches with a pencil. I can move the receiver to that, and then I know that's the exact height that these footings need to be set at. So let's check it out. This one just needs to go down a couple more inches. See where we're at on this side. Good to go. So that's our first helical pile set, and that's the really nice thing about these adjustable piles. We have them set just a little bit lower than we need, and then we can just spin them to the elevation we want. See, this needs to go down a couple more inches. Perfect. So that's the easiest way I have found to do this. Set up your laser rod so that you don't have any confusion, because we want to set these all to the exact height. Get them set, move forward, not have any confusion down the line. So good to go. Start using these more.
Sure.
Not for you, but for me.
Slowed down for you.
Yeah, but it was fun. All right, got a little deck going on. Love that, huh?
We have to take our time.
So,
I'm not on it.
You're not on it? That's all right, I'm here for you, pal. All right, so we have one tier deck. Everything's gonna be the same level, but we have two sections here. We have a 16 by 16 and a 10 by 14 on this side. Both of these areas are gonna be freestanding. Let me show you. Whenever I see a house like this, I can see it in a picture. I know that it's gonna be older than, say, 30 or 40 years old. I know that it's gonna be a block foundation and not a good spot to attach our framing to. Even if we're attaching higher up on the house, we don't want to count on that because a lot of times the framing's a little bit squirrely. So with a low deck like this, we're almost always going to do it freestanding, meaning we have a beam 2 feet away from the house, our joist will cantilever back. It'll look like it's attached, but it's essentially freestanding. It also eliminates the #1 spot where you're gonna have a failure on your deck, which is at the leisure board. That's how we like to do it. We're doing it that way here. It's a couple extra footings, but I think overall it's gonna make for an easier and more long-lasting install here.
Done.
Yeah, you need me?
Yeah, we need these.
All right,
we need
perfect.
these plates.
Oh yeah, I've been working out. We've got the freestanding deck that we talked about here. So this is how we like to frame it up. We set up our ledger, really just another rim on top of this beam. That way we can nail it all off, and then we just push it into the house.
We're gonna tag in, bud.
Tag.
I'm out.
Go ahead.
Why would you be where I'm at?
I don't know.
2, 3.
I don't know if I'm doing anything right now, but love that. One little tip for you when you're framing something like this that you have a little bit of wiggle room and you can run your beams long. Cut off the excess, so we run our beams long in both directions so that we can get this frame up. Once it's up here, then we can square it, cut off the excess. We're good to go. Set up out here right now. We have a couple things that changed a little bit from the initial design. The pool is actually a little bit larger than the one we had initially spec'd in here, so just have to make some slight adjustments. It's really not going to affect too much of our usable area. That was all based on that side. It's just extended further this way. So I got to rework some beds and just a couple of the things that kind of tie into this driveway area. So that's what I'm working on now. Before we get too much further, let's talk about what we're actually going to be building here and the design of this project. It's a pretty small backyard, so everything started with the placement of the in-ground pool. Once we had that space determined, we started designing around that, and coming off the back of the house, we have a pretty small deck area, but we've maximized the usable space. To the left side of the deck, we have enough room for a dining table, a grill, and a bar top for 4 stools. To the right side of the deck, we have just enough space for a sectional couch and a propane fire table with some accessory seating around the outside of that. The deck leads down to the pool patio, and to the left side, you'll notice some pool equipment. We're gonna build a small wall around that to disguise that. Just beyond there, we've kicked the patio out to the left a little bit more to accommodate some lounge seating. And all the way to the right side of the patio, you'll notice a really cool little circular fire pit area. That is going to be loose river rock. It's going to provide a nice change in texture, and also that circular design, I think, anchors that point of the project really well. Team's doing good.
How's your team doing?
Pretty good, I think. I'm working on the final little details of
the
moving
patio
some stuff
area.
around.
It's important.
And the design turned out pretty nice. We got a little bit more distance this way, so it kind of moved the fire pit over a little bit. Kind of opens up some space here, which I think is going to be nice. Went together quick.
Pretty quick, right? Deck of the day. Buttoning up, miscellaneous framing.
Okay.
Flat blocking.
Okay.
I'll double check areas if we need blocking for railings.
Okay.
You really led us to order here, bud.
And drink, my friend.
Thirsty.
All right, let's talk about a couple of the details with framing. This is obviously a pretty simple deck. We've got just a 16 by 16, a 10 by 14. There's a couple little details that we wanted to make sure of with our framing for our inlay. Not really an inlay, more of just a border. Do we have, we got a couple of maybe pieces we can, So, around each section of deck, we're gonna have a 5.5 Sierra and then a 3.5 Tundra. The rest of the board is gonna be Costa. So, what we're gonna have here, we've got our border, we've got our double border, and then this leaves plenty of space here so our field boards can all die into here. One question that we get a lot about our flat blocking is why do we do this piece completely flat? It might trap water or debris. There is a minor risk of that. We mitigate that by doing flashing tape over this entire thing, but I consider these joints where our field boards meet our border very important, and we want that to be nice and flat. So if the border and our field board can all die onto the same piece instead of ladder blocking, that's gonna have a tendency to wanna move a little bit more. This way, our border and our field boards are screwed down into the same piece, and it keeps it all connected and everything nice and flat. The only other blocking we need is here and here. Our border on this 16 by 16 deck come back. We'll have the Tundra on the inside of that, and then over here, we'll just have this 5.5 inch board split through both decks, and then we'll have another 3.5 inch border on this deck. This Sierra board will run all the way back to the house, and then it'll also turn here, and we'll have just on this section here. So those are the last two pieces of blocking we need to put in, and that's why we like to do it flat instead of ladder blocking. Debate me on it if you want. That's what the comment section's for. Busting out the zip level real quick. Just want to get an idea of our height difference between the pool and the deck. Minus 19. We got decking going on top, so that's gonna be a 20-inch difference, but we still have the coping to go on there. We'll have to see. One thing I want everyone to understand is that anytime you deal with a pool contractor, so this pool was installed in like November, and we still got no coping on this. That's why maybe we should start installing pools. That's usually why we don't get involved in the pool build. We say, find yourself a pool contractor, because we haven't found a good one yet. This thing's had water in it for like 4 months, 5 months. So we're not sure the thickness of the coping they're doing. So that's what's really making this a little difficult. We'll get it figured out. I think the safe bet here is gonna be tight though, because if we're doing a concrete coping, it's gonna be about 4 inches. That's gonna bring us down to 16, then we can do 2 8-inch risers. I guess we'll wait. We're gonna have to wait and make that determination. Homeowners hopefully gonna get in contact with the pool company, and hopefully they'll get back to them and give us an answer on this coping so we can figure out 2 or 3 risers here. I'd like to go 2 because we got a limited amount of space here. We want to maximize that as much as possible. More on that at some point, hopefully very soon. They've got this area blocked out with all the flat blocking, and this is going to be what accepts all of our trim detail. We're going to have the Sierra in the middle. We have 2 of these Tundra pieces running side by side, and then our field boards are going to tie into this. So we have plenty of space where they're all going to be nice, securely fastened, and this will all get nice flashing tape over anything that is flat. So we'll be good to go. Great job on the frame, guys. Frame is done. We got hurricane clips in. We've got all of our hardware that needed to go on here. Now we've got framing inspection scheduled for tomorrow, so we start laying deck boards. We'll hopefully have an answer on this coping so we can start prepping the patio. But that's it for this vlog, so you're gonna have to tune into the next one. And until next time, this is Premier Outdoor Living.